Skoda's Kodiaq is a relatively small fish in a large 7-seat SUV pond. While apex predators like Toyota's Land Cruiser Prado and Ford's Everest gobble up big chunks of category market share, it's been lurking in the shallow end. But given it's named after a huge brown bear with a particular taste for fresh fish, maybe its time has come to rise up out of the shallows and make a bigger impact with Aussie new car buyers. That's because after the best part of 8 years in market here, the original Kodiaq has been replaced by this new second generation version. Skoda says it's more space efficient, with more performance, better fuel economy, extra safety, and more.
So if you're in the market for a sizable primo 3-row SUV with a unique Czech Republic twist, stay with us for CarsGuide's Australian First Drive review.
On the way to making an impact on the big guns, Skoda hopes the Kodiaq can make some headway against middle-order players like the Hyundai Santa Fe, Kia Sorento and Mazda CX-80.
Offered in 3 grades from launch, the Select kicks off the range at a fraction under $55,000 before on-road costs. With new standard equipment highlights including 19-inch alloy wheels, heated seats, a 13-inch media display, 9-speaker audio, digital radio and metallic paint. That comes on top of upgraded 3-zone climate control, leather trim, a power tailgate, a 10-inch digital instrument cluster, wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, LED head and taillights, LED ambient lighting and heaps more. The Sportline adds matrix LED headlights, dynamic indicators, 20-inch rims, sports front seats, synthetic leather and synthetic suede trim, Sportline glossy black exterior elements, aluminium finish pedals, a heated steering wheel and a premium sound system. Then an initial batch of 100 launch edition cars is based on the Select, adding power adjustable and massaging front seats, a heated steering wheel and heated rear seats, dynamic chassis control including adaptive dampers, auto parking, a surround camera view, matrix LED headlights, Canton audio, a head-up display and a panoramic glass sunroof. Well and truly in the right price ballpark with an impressive standard features list at every level. It's also worth noting a 195 kilowatt Kodiaq RS will be arriving in September.
Similar in overall proportions to the first generation Kodiaq, this new car is actually 60 millimeters longer, with a fresh headlight treatment, new octagonal grille and a broad intake underneath the bumper. Looking at the side of the car, there are these quite squared off wheel arches filled in this case with 20-inch rims on the Sportline, 19-inch wheels on the Select and Launch Edition. There's a tapering turret, comes quite markedly towards the back, and the overall drag coefficient is a pretty slippery 0.28. At the rear, the key feature are these C-shaped LED taillights, broken into 3 for a distinctive look. The badge work on this Sportline is all black. It'll be a dark chrome finish on the Select.
In classic Skoda fashion, there are numerous thoughtful details that make life that little bit easier, including pop-out door protectors, bins in both front doors, an umbrella slotted into the driver's door, and even a media screen wiping tool to keep the inevitable fingerprints under control. Aside from specific badges on the front guards, car spotters looking out for the Sportline should tick off 20-inch rims and metallic black finish on the grille, wing mirrors, roof rails, D-pillar and diffuser. The interior is dominated by a 13-inch multimedia screen and a 10.25-inch virtual cockpit instrument display, with ventilated wireless charging pads for 2 phones on top of the broad centre console.
But these digital smart dials in the centre console are very neat. The 2 on the outside are for the heating and ventilation control, and all their readouts are on the face of the dial. The centre one can be adjusted to your preference. You can choose in this Sportline 4 out of 6 different functions. In this case, it's the suspension. You can then think about fan speed, the direction of the air, and audio volume, which is terrific. They're big, chunky, and very easy to use. All Kodiaq launch variants are powered by the same 140 TSI 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo-petrol engine, driving all 4 wheels through a 7-speed dual-clutch auto transmission. It's the same direct injected unit used in other Volkswagen Group products like the Audi A4 and Q5.
The new Kodiaq is around 60mm longer overall than its predecessor, but the wheelbase has only grown by 1mm. Yet Skoda claims the interior, including the third row space, is more generous. Let's take a look.
From a practicality point of view, up front here, it's classically Skoda. Very thoughtful for a start. 2 glove boxes, small one up top, larger one below. Lots of cubbies in the center console, different size cup holders, even room for bottles. There's a big bin between the front seats with a lid that is actually adjustable and doubles as an armrest. You can also fit bottles in the bins, in the doors. It's just very, very easy to live with. In the center row, in terms of practicality, it's almost a case of what does this car not have rather than what it does have. I'm sitting behind the driver's seat, set for my 183cm position. I've got acres of legroom, lots of headroom, fair amount of shoulder room as well. And then you've got a screen for the window, you've got a bin in the door, big enough for bottles, like this one, plenty of room. Speaking of which, there is a little console in the center here with a bottle holder, a little tray for maybe games consoles, that kind of stuff. And it in itself is removable if you don't want that and need some extra footroom for a center passenger. Phone, there's a phone holder behind the seat. You can pull it out of there and there's a pocket. And then the map pocket behind that. Then once you've moved this aside, you pull down the center armrest. 3 different size cup holders in the armrest. Really, you've also got ventilation adjustable with climate on this sport line, as well as 2 USB-Cs and a 12-volt outlet, so no charging arguments for the kids in the back. It's really pretty comprehensive. To gain access to the third row, there's no kind of roll, fold, tumble of these seats. It's a matter of moving it forward, tilting the backrest as far as it will go, and clambering in. So as you can tell from my elegant limo-like seating position here, there's not exactly a lot of room in this third row. Think of it as an occasional third row rather than a formal one. And there are, however, little trays, there's a bottle holder, so if the kids are sitting back here, they're pretty well taken care of, but not exactly a friendly place for grown-ups.
Boot capacity is generous and class competitive with numerous thoughtful touches like extra storage wells, bag hooks and a 12-volt power outlet. There's a space-saver spare under the boot floor and you'll be able to tow a 2.3-tonne braked trailer. Skoda's official fuel consumption figure for the Kodiaq 140 TSI on the combined urban extra urban cycle is 9.2 litres per 100 kilometres, which is a reminder that we're dealing with a roughly 1.8-tonne 3-row 7-seat SUV powered by a 2-litre engine. Minimum fuel requirement is 95 RON premium unleaded, and with a 58-litre tank, theoretical range is around 630 kilometres. Stop-start is standard, and on test, over several hundred Ks in the Select and Sport line, we saw an average of around 8.5 litres per 100 kilometres. But that was majority highway and B-road running. Expect low 10s and above in the city. Not horrendous, but not spectacular. Skoda claims the Kodiaq will accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in 7.9 seconds, and there's enough power for overtaking and easy cruising, but it's no powerhouse.
Thing is, you'd like just a little more performance. We've driven this car mostly 2 up, but you can imagine with 5 or even more passengers and some gear, it could potentially do with a little more oomph for such a large SUV. The 7-speed auto transmission is slick as, no qualms there, and the all-wheel drive setup uses a couple of different clutch packs to distribute drive to each of the 4 wheels on demand, and that works seamlessly too. Suspension is by struts at the front and multi-links at the rear. The Select and the Launch Edition ride on 19-inch rims, 20 on the Sport line. And the Select on the standard suspension, it's pretty good. We were driving over a lot of coarse chip, B-road type surfaces, and it coped with those well. You've got the adaptive suspension in the Sport line, And we found in the comfort setting, it's just a little bit lopey and soft. The sport, on anything other than a billiard table smooth road, it's too choppy and bumpy. Normal is just right, and it does a really good job. The rack and pinion steering is electrically assisted. It has good feel, it's nice and accurate. What we did find from a safety point of view though is that the lane keeping will sometimes make its presence felt in a fairly abrupt way, a little jerkier than you would like it to be, but other than that, the steering is really good. Brakes are discs all around, ventilated at the front, pretty standard setup, and we've found them to be nice and progressive with a good pedal feel over the several 100-kilometre drive program that we've been on with the Kodiaq. From an ergonomic point of view, this car is just first class. It's so easy to use. Reference the central configurable dials. You've also got the auto transmission stalk, which is, it takes a little bit of getting used to. They're becoming more common, and it does free up so much more room in the center console. Once you are used to it, it is really easy to flick through, reverse and drive just at your right hand there. For parking, all-around vision is good. There's a 12-metre turning circle, which is fairly sizable, so be ready for that. There's also a reversing camera. We did notice a bit of distortion in the view on that score. Overall, the car is just impressively refined. It's quiet from an engine noise point of view, wind noise. The tyres, they're hand-cooked tyres on all models of the launch Kodiaq. Very refined. The seats in all Kodiaq variants are really good, leather trimmed, for example, in the Select, and comfortable over many hours behind the wheel on this launch program. In the Sport line, extra bolstering for a snug fit, and they're not so extreme, however, that you find it difficult to clamber in and out of them. They're livable from that point of view. Also worth noting the soft touch materials around the cabin, the dash, the door tops, the dash top. It all has that nice premium feel to it.
The second-gen Kodiaq has been given a maximum 5-star ANCAP assessment, and there's a swag of new or upgraded crash avoidance tech on board, including a head-up display with traffic sign recognition, predictive adaptive cruise control, upgraded lane assist with adaptive lane guidance, improved AEB with pedestrian and cyclist detection, turn assist, traffic sign recognition, recalibrated driver fatigue detection, and traffic jam assist. If despite all that a crash is unavoidable, there are 9 airbags fitted, including a front centre bag to minimise head clash injuries between driver and co-pilot. And standard multi-collision brake helps reduce the chance of a secondary impact after a crash.
The Kodiaq is covered by Skoda's 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is ahead of the mainstream pack, which mostly sits at 5 years unlimited kilometres. Mind you, a couple like MG and Mitsubishi are at 10 years.
Scheduled servicing is every 12 months 15,000 kilometres, which is the expected norm for the category, and costs are still being fine-tuned. That said, you can expect prepaid service pack pricing of around $2,750 for 7 years, or an average of roughly $393 per service, which is on the money for the category.
The new Skoda Kodiaq is an impressive family-friendly machine with a sharp design, loads of standard fruit, top shelf safety, and heaps of thoughtful touches throughout. It's comfortable and refined, a little thirsty relative to some key competitors, could do with a fraction more oomph, and there are some niggles around lane keeping and the reversing camera, but there is no doubt this so far low-key contender deserves a bigger share of the large 7-seat SUV spotlight. This is Bo M.